We kind of forgot when we started, but I think we started something like January 2002. So it was a kind of long project. But anyway, our project title was My Backyard Store. Since we don't have a big garden, we only have, maybe this room is bigger than our garden. So we wanted to focus to the kids if they can plant things at home in their backyard to feed their family. So our driving question was, can a backyard garden provide meals for the family? So we wanted to show them that the size of the garden didn't matter. Because we only had like 1 or 2 varieties of each vegetable. But yet when we planted eggplant, they were surprised how much eggplant came from one tree. So that was the question. Our mission statement, I'll read it from here, the first kind of small. Our mission statement is, Hawaii is our home, so we must care for the land. How we care for the land is how we care for our family, the future, and ourselves. In return, the land will provide us with food for generations to come. And that was our kind of statement too. So they could take care of the land and yet provide food for their family and community. And anything you guys gonna add in? No? And the partners, everybody have the partners now. We just put the partners on the board. And we just started by rock your plot. Okay? That was the first step we did, the first class we had. And we have a picture here. We say our pond looks like Lake Wilson with all the water lettuce. But ours is cut on purpose because we grew the water lettuce for our mulch. We added to our mulch for like the green crop manure. So sometimes it looks full like this and we empty it out, put them on in compost bins and let it grow back in. In about 2 weeks it looks like that again. So we're glad it's not big like Lake Wilson. And then with the kids involved, they get the mulch out of the garden and try to get more kids. Instead of one kid do everything, just some shovel the mulch out, another one adds them in. So kind of like everybody get involved. Everybody be a part of it. And we just have 2 small compost bins because our garden is, like I said, not bigger than this. And some of the problems we had making a garden, besides the insect, is we run a petting zoo. So the animals were our biggest problem. The faster we planted the seeds, the faster the chickens put it up. When the ducks wanted to eat something green, they flew over the pond and went in the garden. When we finally figured out, clip all the wings, then the goats and the sheep made sure there's nothing else green in the garden. So we had a lot of obstacles to go through, being like it was a challenge for us because we're kind of strong in animals. So planting vegetables was a good, different twist for us. And plus organic made it a little more challenging too. And maybe you can read
I
it.
just want to add, I don't have to read what I wrote, but when we had our Brockville class, it was held at the Konawaena farm for the big our school and family. And we went down and he had us fill in his compost, to make a rock. And we had tree trimmings from huge trees that he had brought up to the farm. And we also put in leaves, so we all got a hand into helping him help the most. And I think our personal homes, like the one I have, is made out of chicken wire and old fence. And one is just for after meals left over, and the other one is for tree trimmings and shrubbery. And Maverick, what I didn't know, of course, my husband's the one that usually takes care of this, told us that you have to keep it at a certain temperature. I never knew that. I just knew you just dump everything in and let it rot. And then I realized the worms help make it rot. So we learned a lot from, and the kids also in this class.
And she also runs a news writing class, and one of her students came up to do an interview, and she's going to put it in school news or Westworld?
Both.
In both.
But the other article that they wrote on Konawaena Farm got national honors, the writer of the article. If you guys wanted, Maverick can always email. She got the highest national, and it was on Konawaena Farm Grows Prize. That was a time.
And also we got Kelly's class involved. Maybe you can talk about you.
Okay. We had centered it under sense of caring, and I have a grad's class, which is pregnant and parenting teens. And one of the things that I wanted to show them, because a lot of them come from families that have financial difficulties, and showing them that going to McDonald's is really an expensive thing for them to do, and they do it all the time. So we have bigger pictures in our book, but here, Maverick student John, he harvested some cabbage, and it must have been the mulch because these cabbages were just big and juicy. And so he just brought over one cab. I'm thinking, okay, one head of lettuce, and I have 12 students. But I brought in a can of corned beef, which is not real healthy, but anyway, for $1.50, and then we had this one head of cabbage, and they cooked it up, and I think we got some onions, and then we fed all of us with that one head of cabbage and about 2 roasting, which was a small little meal for us to put together. But they realized that really they can grow their own vegetables and feed their families because they have children that they have to think of too. So that was a little lesson for them that they learned.
The hardest part of I think the section we picked was probably 5 a day. Because teenagers don't like fruits and vegetables. We make exercise for them, they write it down, but they actually don't practice it at home that much. Except we had one girl, read her the letter she wrote. She used to eat meat all the time until she came to our farm where we started slaughtering animals and stuff. And she got gross out and she don't eat meat anymore. So we made her a vegetarian. But this is what she wrote. She wrote, I used to be a typical everyday meat eater. I love to come home and eat a nice big fat steak. Recently, I stopped eating meat due to personal reasons. That's us. And have begun to eat more fruits and vegetables. Due to this change in my diet, I have noticed a major difference in my energy level. When I wake up in the morning, I feel energized and ready to tackle the day. When it comes to schoolwork, I feel more motivated. My body feels healthier, therefore I want to exercise more. Overall, cutting meat out of my diet and by eating 5 fruits and vegetables a day have left with more energy and motivation to do things. Okay, so this one was like a real life situation. A lot of kids who do the exercise, they write it and kind of, think what it was done, but this one really does it every day. So that was by a junior in class.
I just want to add to that. All of the students that he worked with and he's talking about, and whoever, and also Chelsea, they wrote this article. I also had them in social studies when this was going on. And they came in and shared what they did with the 5 a day, with the social studies class. And I also gave them extra credit, but they were really excited. The whole class said it itself, what they learned from the hands-on with the farm, with Mr. coming into the class and sharing. So, Miss, we can have just for growing cabbage, we can get extra credit, and say, yeah, and eating it too. So it was pretty exciting.
And
one more thing with the 5 a day. My grad students, I tried to get them accustomed to different foods. Many of them never ate watercress before, and they were able to go to Maverick's bioremediation project, and they harvested watercress and did a pork and watercress, which was actually from Bernard Young, who used to do
FNEP.
FNEP, yeah. So we had FNEP come into class the previous year, but we kept some of her recipes. So we used watercress from Maverick's bioremediation. We planted, what else did we plant? Yeah, some of the herbs. Parsley, some of the parsley. And we used another dish that had basil in it, and we had the basil in there. So, and they put together a grad's recipe book. We shared with them, and I'll give you.
okay, also on the 5 a day, we were lucky. We were on tours with small children almost every day, like May and April. And yesterday Sam Choi dropped by. So he looked at the garden and said, asked him if he could help us, because we have a fun day every year. If we could come and cook some dishes on that day for next year. So he said that's fine. And also I mentioned to him about our food service class, if they could be on the show to do something, maybe on a healthy dish. So they're probably going to be on in August or September, maybe he's going to arrange for a food service class to go down. So they kind of tied in real good, by him dropping by. And it's kind of like the sense of caring. When we run tours, we run a fun day every year. And this year, we made like a booklet and we put like food just growing in it. And we had a community helper who knows about organic gardening, stand by the garden if you have any questions. The only thing our clientele was, small little kids, so they didn't care about the garden. But anyway, we kind of tried to promote it, made signs by the garden, and just a way to kind of promote it to the community. And also, we had some local kapuna come in, teach the kids how to plant carrot and things like that. The kids really respect when somebody else come in, show them how, and they spend the time, they help them out, and I think that's a good part of sharing the knowledge. And from here, our kids can teach the little ones who come to tour on the farm on how to plant. So I think around 2 generations down the line. Yeah.
This is one of the articles. Students have to try to put it all together. What on earth are we doing with the earth? Okay. The project was called Food Just Grow It. I never knew or heard anything about this program, so I was kind of skeptical on whether or not I would be able to write an article on it. But within a few days, I had learned enough about the program to really understand the purpose of it. Food Just Grow It is a state-financed agricultural project that promotes students to make sound decisions and choices in their adult lives that will lead to healthy individuals, communities, and environments. The project started as a solution to the state's obesity epidemic. High school students involved in the program are fully engaged in farm life and are taught how to grow vegetables, how to care for them, how to harvest it, and other information that relates to farming. The program is ran by the Cooperative Extension Services of the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources at the University of Hawaii, and will receive funding of $200,000 over the next 3 years from the State Department of Health. Only 6 schools, Hawaii, Kealakeke, Konawaena, Pelihua, Waianae, and Waimea, are participating in the program. Our agriculture teacher, Mr. Maverick Kawamoto, introduced the program Food Just Grow It to Konawaena's campus and started an additional project called My Backyard Store. He started the project to teach students how to grow their own food right in their backyard. In the beginning of the school year, students from 3 of his classes and volunteers from around the campus started planting Konawaena's very first garden. They planted a variety of vegetables and harvested a total of 3 times throughout the school year. Patricia Neibu and Kelly Sugai Dahl, colleagues of Mr. Kawamoto, who helped him begin with the project, took the vegetables and prepared healthy meals for students and staff members. I have a food service class, and I'm a waitress in a restaurant, so I know a thing or two about food and eating healthy. Day to day, I see so many customers overloading their food with salt, or continuously eating until their pants are busting, this is fast food, at the seams. Obesity is a problem in Hawaii, and I'm glad that our school has a program that teaches our students how to live a healthier life.
Also on the sharing part, sense of caring, I call it kind of sharing too. We have a lot of preschool, kindergarten, they come to visit the farm. So I told the students, how can you get them involved, into the garden? Because their interest is not the garden. You can see all the animals and go crazy. So we planted herbs and like the rosemary, peppermint, lemongrass. So just so you can have them sense of smell. So when they have tours, the kids take the kids around and smell the peppermint and smell the lemongrass, and it's kind of like a start for them. That's the only way I think they could get something out of it, by smelling something or touching, or so that's how we started. And also what we involved a lot in the program too was special ed kids that they kind of enjoyed the garden, even just watering them, and they were glad to be involved in the project. So this is Andrew, who, if he doesn't, you don't give him anything, he'll just ride his scooter around the farm whole day. He wets half of himself watering, but every day he'll volunteer to go water and stuff like that. And this is just a few of our vegetables. Like I said, our garden is real small, so we just have to rotate crop. When one crop finishes, we dig it all out and plant something else. And sometimes we only have one broccoli or one cabbage, or just a variety of things. Just to see if we grow organically. Cabbage was the biggest problem with bugs. Well, tons of bugs on cabbage. Actually, the best medicine was letting the chickens go in. I think it's kind of short, but I think that's about it. In conclusion, I think as a group, I think we feel we didn't do as much as we could in the project. There's some areas we could have done more, but the program is a good base where we can still continue year and year after. There's a lot of good lessons in the book, and sometimes we found integrating was hard. We have different schedules, so getting together was kind of tough at times. But I think overall, I think the students learn and still learning, and it's something we can keep doing year after year. Any questions?
The test part on the lower right, did the students get into identifying tests or something?
Yeah, some of them we give them a chance to go on a computer, because a lot of them have computer, so we let them do research on a computer and type it out. They can find the information, but they cannot just print it out. They got to bring it up and type it out on their own. So it's kind of like letting them use some technology to go research and things like that. Each student had different parts of the board they had to do. Patty's class helped research with. She taught them kind of like project-based learning. So they kind of read some stuff and then, as a group, put it together.
There was funny about the test. That was actually my favorite and the kids' favorite. Professor Mao, was it Ronald Mao? I think that was his name. He gave a history of it, and I said, okay, this fits in, because I was doing world culture at that time. And I took back one of the facts and told them that they used to use jewelry. The purpose of some of the jewelry was to attract the fleas, the body fleas, or the bugs from the hair, whatever. And all of a sudden, all the girls, the boys look at who has jewelry, and the girls are grabbing the jewelry. But they said, oh, so jewelry are precious then, in more ways than others. And we had fun. There was a lot of it. I really enjoyed that.
I want to make a comment on Konawaena, because I see the thing evolve, but this project, to me, I think it met the component of academic side, authenticity. Maverick is always, I know that as a fact, because he was one of my students, and he always had great ideas, and many people have great ideas, but the ideas just ends. However, he always puts it into action, and I seen things that happen, on that farm, like the bioremediation, one of the first in the state, where thinking aquaculture, water, and I think how much did you guys save a year, by recycling?
About 9,000 gallons a day.
Yeah, 9,000 gallons a day, and it comes out to how much dollars that the school has been saving, and then taking some of those plants, and then now I hear that you're incorporating in food just grow it, you know, and I know there's the adult component on it also, because I see a lot of adults coming to the farm and working with them. So, you know, I'm really, for me, I'm fortunate to work with to Konawaena. I haven't been up there as much as I should, but I see the thing as one of the most unique programs, you know. And I look at his class, majority, I'm gonna say this, and it's a fact, majority of his students is special ed. But yet, every year he puts out about 2 students on the average to go to pre-vet school, you know. And through his, I think through the farm, the barn, you know, that the animal petting zoo that he has, that motivates students to go into animal husbandry, and of course I think he's really, we look at his bioremediation, and now he wants it to make it, you know, they want to make it more self-sufficient in energy, etc. And I think it's a great laboratory. And if you have a chance to go up there to Konawaena, go see it, because it's really unique. So I just wanted to share that.
And the next time you see us, will be more technology. We have workshops. Wednesday is not on PowerPoint and things like that. Right now it's just called finger point. Any other questions?
How is you guys scheduled? You guys are separate. You're 3 different classes. How do you folks get? I know you said you had a hard time getting together. So how do you get together? After school, and when is you guys?
Usually at lunch.
Lunch. And one is social studies, food service, or you teach food science, grads. Only your grads classes involved.
Well, we
Yeah,
have
we-
the PE health, and he's been covering a lot on health, healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has been reading his classes. I know for a fact, every day they have to read something on a healthy, you know, just basic health. Whether it's eating or exercising, especially strength.
Yeah, because her husband runs before school, lunchtime, after school, rides bike to school. Yeah, so integrating was hard to, especially when we first started with 6 teachers involved. It was so hard to find Monday when everybody could come to the sessions or stuff. It's tough to get. Start to find a common time. And we have a floating prep where we have periods off different time of the day, but ours are not the same.
So the only way, like I was mentioning, was the project-based, like whatever they learned from me anyway, from Mavericks, I would give them opportunities to turn it into a project and present it to the social studies class, because it was on culture also. So that worked out pretty well. And so we knew in social studies, and like I'm down south and he's way north, what the north was doing on the farm through the presentations in our classes. So that worked out really well in that sense.
Mary, we're going, you know, last night we were talking, and you brought up a very, very important comment when we were evaluating our last session, and it was, you know, you guys are out there, out in the field, but we need someone to go out, you know, to do the assessment and to help you guys along the way, you know. And that was, I think it's important, and looking at maybe even a retired ag teacher that if we can hire them, if we have enough funding to do that, to go out working with you guys on your curriculum. You know,
I think that was one of our downfalls. We didn't have we kind of lost focus. Because we started like January 2002, so about halfway through the year you figure out, you know, you're going to do another project, you know, you forget about it. So we kind of need a push from somebody coming, how you guys doing, what help you guys need. Otherwise we kind of lose focus and do our other things.
you know, in that line too, you know, I just want to ask you on the part of the nutrients and the pest control. That's a problem that I had, but not too much on the nutrients. I'm kind of getting it, but the pests, well, I'll tell you what, a couple of them are failure.
Yeah.
They just eat you up, and by the time we try to look for somebody, dead already.
Like the beans were found with like powdery mildew and stuff like that.
You know, and,
Sometimes it's easier to just pull them out and you know, spend
yeah,
something else.
that's our thing. But we figured maybe the guys, we gotta call University Extension Service.
No, who's Tashimoto? Who with Universal Extension Service? Do we have one person that is, you know, working strictly with organic farming? Do we have someone?
Who?
Wait, one more.